About 12 million Americans are dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. It's often the result of going through or witnessing a life-threatening event like war, a natural disaster, or an assault. The symptoms of PTSD, like flashbacks and heightened fear of danger, can disrupt daily life and contribute to long-term health issues. But many people with PTSD are finding relief through a common form of exercise. Barry Petersen has the story.
When you see Candace Lager and Mariah Rooney in a Denver area gym, it's not a run-of-the-mill workout. They're co-directors of trauma-informed weightlifting, teaching coaches how to use weight training to help trauma survivors.
When you have experienced such horrible things that tell you that maybe you don't matter, you're not strong, that you don't have the right to make choices over your own body, it's a pretty powerful thing to then be able to move in a way that really taps into strength.
If I can do this, I can control other parts of what's happening to me.
Absolutely, absolutely.
PTSD causes elevated stress hormones, often trapping a person in fight or flight mode. Exercises like this barbell back squat might disrupt that.
Doing something like that could allow someone to just focus on the movement and develop a better connection to what their body is doing in that mode.
Is this a kind of a message of doing this exercise also means you're in control, as opposed to the things that may have happened to you from outside of your body?
In a lot of ways, yes. It can feel like you're in control when you are carrying weight or pushing weight or pressing things or lifting things.
But there is another message here about holding weights behind you, says Dr. James Whitworth of the Veterans Administration Boston Healthcare System and a researcher on trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder.
The benefit of that is that you maybe feel fearful about what's coming up behind you because of an experience you had, and this gives you a sense of control or power over that process. Is that a fairly good example of why this weight training can help shift how you feel about trauma and post-traumatic stress?
I think that's a good example, Barry. And using powerful movements that make people feel strong could be one of those benefits.
While serving as a platoon sergeant in Iraq, he first connected exercise with trauma therapy.
I would exercise with my fellow soldiers to blow off steam, to deal with the stressors of combat. But it wasn't until I lost one of my friends and soldiers, battle buddies, to suicide that I really got interested in trauma, PTSD, and how exercise might be helpful for people suffering from PTSD.
Now, he's focusing on weightlifting as a therapy. It's almost like seeing can reshape believing. Seeing the growing muscle helps in believing you have greater inner strength.
It is an opportunity to disrupt some of those cognitive distortions and negative views of themselves that may have arisen as a result of their trauma.
In a Philadelphia gym, trainer Jessica Brock-Pitts works with Heather DeWar.
When you have trauma, you can get very disconnected from your body, and using strength training movements to help get more in your body and aware of how things feel in your body and how these different sensations feel can be really helpful.
Heather believes the results are helping resolve her trauma.
I think that I'm on the way, for sure. Gaining trust in my body, gaining awareness of my body is laying a strong foundation towards resolution for me.
Let's warm up with about 5-6 reps.
Jessica teaches from her own experience.
I am a survivor of trauma myself, and I was not always like an athletic person or kid. So then I stumbled across the trauma-informed weightlifting training and was like, oh man, this is for me.
The connection between exercise and good health is long-standing, but using resistance training as a coping strategy for PTSD symptoms is still being studied and may take a while to gain acceptance.
I'm curious, when you started looking at this research and thinking about this, did your colleagues think you were just a little crazy?
That's a fun question, but I would say no.
So when you talk about this at a dinner party, people actually take you seriously. They don't like just brush you off.
Absolutely.
In fact, not brushed off, but increasingly available, where coaches with specific training can use heavy weights to lighten the weight of trauma on a person's soul.
Good.
For CBS Saturday Morning, Barry Petersen, Denver.
Hey, listen, if it works.
I was just going to say,
Great,
isn't
right?
it like whatever it takes? And
Yeah.
it seems like the more stories we see and the more we do, it's each person that's dealing with PTSD in different forms, it does take something different.
Everybody handles it differently. Everybody
Exactly.
deals with it differently.
Yeah. And weight training just overall is a great form of exercise and can help with like making you feel better about yourself. So,
Strengthen something within.
Yeah, there you go.
Righto.